Hello my wonderful friends and welcome back to another video, a very exciting video. I am going to be reacting to You Can't Ask That, a new program that is over on Netflix UK, but I think it has been out before because it was made in 2019. Correction, 2016 it first aired, and that will become a little bit more important as the video goes on. A series in which controversial questions are sourced from the public and they are put to the groups that they are related to. And there are so many groups on these series. There's wheelchair users, deaf people, transgender people, gay people, Muslims. There are lots and lots. So far, I've only watched the wheelchair user one and I started watching the transgender one. Let me know if you have watched any, if you gained any insight from them. If you haven't seen me before, hello, my name is Jem. This is my channel, Wheelsnoheels. It's dedicated to my life as a wheelchair user. I do lots of disability news, travel and review videos. So if that sounds like good stuff to you, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my laptop and we're going to watch You Can't Ask That Wheelchair Edition. I've had a lot of experience. I think I'm up for this challenge. I'm going to watch the episode, going to react to some of the comments, and then I'm also going to be answering the questions myself as well. You can comment your answers down below and what you think of the questions as we go as well. All right, let's go.
Okay, all right. Should we take a look?
First question.
First of all, we see everybody rolling in so that we know these people who are answering the questions are actually in wheelchairs themselves. I have just actually noticed something. What I have seen, to me, look Caucasian. It would be great to have some wheelchair users from different ethnic backgrounds, different races. I would like to think that if this was made now, more of a conscious effort would be made to get more diverse range of voices. The first question is probably like one of the most commonly asked questions amongst wheelchair users.
Why are you in a wheelchair? Why are you in a wheelchair? Why would anyone ask that?
Yeah. It's one of those things where, you know, if I'd known you for more than 10 minutes, I'd tell you, but I don't, so none of your business.
George Teleporos, I think his name is. I love the way he's like, you know, if I'd known you for 10 minutes, I'd probably tell you, but I don't. It's perfectly reasonable. You don't have to tell someone why you're in a wheelchair, especially if you don't even know them from Adam or Eve.
I just wish people wouldn't want to know so badly why I'm in a wheelchair all the time. It's not offensive, it's just boring, guys. I don't want to be bored anymore.
If you have any common sense, then you'll know why I'm in a wheelchair. Deep down, you know. Because I can't walk. Why do you use a car? Or why do you use a bike? You use a car because you can't walk as, 20 miles. When you're thinking about why I'm going to ask someone why they're in a wheelchair, why do I need to know? Do I really need to know? Because to be honest with you, I'm an adult and I can work out why they're in a wheelchair.
I think it's really important that I just let them know. So I explained that I had a motor car accident and I broke my back and I can't walk, I can't use my legs.
I also love the fact that some people mention that they're quite comfortable to tell people why they're in a wheelchair. So why am I in a wheelchair? Well, there is a whole video here. I have a spinal cord injury that I sustained when I was 9. After heart surgery went wrong, I had major internal bleeding. The lack of oxygen to the spinal cord damaged it, and that's why I have a spinal cord injury.
Oh, what are the perks of life in a wheelchair? Do you use it to skip lines all the fucking time?
The best thing is that you can buy shoes and they will never wear out. That's a perk. That's a perk. That's a perk.
I like the way they've kept it this is quite light in video.
Remember, when I travelling on aeroplanes, in the days when I had to actually be lifted, physically lifted, and often I got travel first class. First class on the plane.
I've never been travelled first class because of my disability. That is quite a perk.
I am notorious for not just skipping lines, bringing my whole posse with me. Oh, these 50 people are also my carers. They can come with me.
And the other thing that I find is that, you can sort of, steal things from shops. There's so many places to hide stuff.
People just don't think people in wheelchairs are naughty.
It's funny because what people think are a perk are often not a perk.
Being in a wheelchair, it kind of gives you an insight into kind of what a person is like just by the way they kind of treat you. So I feel like it kind of gives you, and I hate to kind of use this word, but it kind of gives you like a superpower into gauging how people are.
Jeez, this is exciting. Can you shower yourself? Hey!
Oh, really?
I love sitting in the shower. I don't know why you guys stand. You should all sit in the shower.
I have people come and help care for me in the mornings and evenings, and it's not the actual showering. I'm perfectly capable of doing that, but my fingers dislocate just squeezing a bottle of shampoo. I was doing everything myself still till about a year ago, and I was so exhausted by the time I had undressed, showered, squeezed bottles, dressed again. I was wiped out for the day.
So this particular person, I think they're called Joe Berry, is sort of explaining to us the spoon theory, where everyday tasks that disabled people do actually take a lot more energy that a non-disabled person would never even think about.
And when I started to get carers come in and help with that stuff, I really found it confronting, and I felt like I was more disabled than I really am. And then I realised, no, hang on a minute, I'm now able to go to work fresh because I'm not feeling exhausted.
Sometimes having a shower is more exhausting than the actual job you've got to do yourself. So I really like the way she's normalising that disabled people do have to have care. They're adults, that's absolutely okay. And now it's actually enabled her to go and do her job.
I've never showered on my own, so it would be really weird. I wouldn't know who to talk to.
Yes. I don't know what other information to give you. I've got handrails and stuff in my shower. Most of the time I can do it myself. It just depends a little bit on the day.
Some people need care, other people don't need care. Some people actually just need the help in and out of the shower. For myself, it depends day to day. But I've got some transferring videos so you can have a look at me transferring in and out of the bath and the shower if you want to.
Do you get mad when you see other people with legs being lazy?
What kind of a question is that? Did a 5-year-old write that? Definitely haven't come across that question, have you? Maybe it needs to be worded slightly different, but let's take a look and see what people say and I'll answer it in a minute. And also, if you are enjoying this video so far, make sure to thumbs up and subscribe for more.
Legs being lazy.
Hell yeah. Yes, I do. When I see other people with legs being lazy, are they implying that I don't have legs?
That is actually a bit of a grey area because obviously there are people with invisible disabilities, there are people with prosthetic legs that you might not even be able to see or notice.
That about people in lifts. And there's like 10 people squashed in it. Every single one of them can take the stairs, and you're like, you're on the 5th floor having to just bum all the way down going, really?
There might be people with lots and lots of reasons as to why they need to use a lift. So it's really hard to judge, and I really do try not to judge people who look like they could use the stairs or the escalators because you just don't know what's going on underneath.
Look, if people want to be lazy, that's fine. Look, I'm lazy sometimes. It's not unique to people who walk.
I don't think I get angry when I see people with legs being lazy. As one of the guys said, we are all lazy at some point, aren't we? We always cut corners. Something that I would really, really love to do is to roller skate. Oh my God, an ice skate. I would love to do that and be awesome at it, you know?
Does the wheelchair ruin the romance? Well, like, I'm sorry, I tried to kiss you, but your wheelchair just got in the way. You're probably asking is, does the wheelchair make it harder to find relationships?
Kelly Vincent, I think her name is. She's great in this because kind of when the questions come up and they're a little bit weird, she'll be like, I think what you're trying to ask is...
I think what you're probably asking is, does the wheelchair make it harder to find relationships? The answer is yes, but the thing is, it makes it harder to find relationships with dickheads.
I've had guys ask me not to bring my wheelchair out. Oh, don't bring your chair. You can walk that far.
So the blonde lady in the wheelchair is Carney Liddell, and she is an ambulatory wheelchair user. And I do like the way that this program has sort of scratched upon the surface of ableism and very dangerous sort of attitudes towards people with disabilities when dating. I mean, it should be down to the person as to whether they need to bring their wheelchair on a date or not. And I think that, I mean, that's a huge red flag and an absolute no-no. And I'm sure Kelly is not with someone like that. And, you know, that again kind of plays into the power of that being in a wheelchair shows you kind of red flags and true colours of people quite early on in meeting them. So I think that is a good way of dodging a bullet, as we should say.
There are people who are attracted to people with disabilities because of their disability.
People can like really interesting things like I've got very skinny like limbs and stuff, and I've been asked to put pictures on the internet of them.
Really?
Yeah, people want to pay money for that shit.
Damn, that's wild.
So, you know, if I hello.
Awesome.
What they don't touch upon here is how sort of dangerous that could be. Being in a relationship, sometimes devotees can really make a disabled person suffer and do not so nice things. Dr. George Talaporos, I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly, my dyslexia is pretty bad. He's a character, and I think whatever he kind of says, take with a pinch of salt. So for me, the question, does the wheelchair get in the way of romance? I'm honest, no, it's never got in the way. Sometimes it can help the situation.
Can you have sex? Yes.
Look, I want to answer this for everyone watching. We can all have sex.
I'm going to leave that one there because, you know, I've got a daughter, so I think that speaks for itself. Got a wide audience, me mum, me pa, my aunt, my uncle, everyone watches this channel, so I think we'll just leave it there. And let's see what the next juicy one is.
Do you care if people use the disabled toilet? Good question.
This is a tough one because I get it.
It's not a disabled toilet. You don't want to use a disabled toilet, it won't flush. It's an accessible toilet.
At those concerts where there's massive lines for the able-bodied toilets, I get if people look around and there's no people in wheelchairs, I get if you can just run in and run
I
out.
don't know how I feel about that, Kelly. I totally know where Kelly is coming from. But what if all of a sudden 10 non-disabled people decide that they want to use the accessible toilet? It builds up a backlog, then they start checking their makeup and everything. And then you've got the 11th person who's in a wheelchair who can't wait. But I do know where you're coming from. Let me know what you think down below.
That's not right.
Yeah.
The funny thing is where people put on a limp for like the 100 metres beyond the toilet, they'll act like it, and then they just walk off. Half the time, if someone is using a disabled toilet and they're not disabled, it's because they want to poop in privacy. And so pretty much all disabled toilets smell.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a difficult one because, you know, if someone was to jump out of an accessible toilet and skip away, you don't know what is below the surface. There are lots of disabilities that are invisible.
And it's usually people with disabilities don't have the control, and that's the thing that you kind of often don't
You mean
know.
about control?
Yeah, totally. Like the
Okay.
least of my issues is walking.
Yeah.
People don't realise that, one, you can't access anything else and they're your only option. And two, that you don't actually, you often don't have the ability to be able to hold on while someone's doing their hair
Yeah, or having sex.
or having sex.
That's what really is when people use it to have sex.
Yeah.
I have been on the one end where I've been waiting for the toilet and I have been this close. I mean, almost tears in my eyes. And I waited 15 or 20 minutes. You might not think that sounds like a lot. It felt like an eternity, and I had no option but to wait. And I could hear what was going on in there. And 2 teenage boys came out. And they were obviously having a nice time together. And I actually ended up having a UTI after that.
Most of the time too, when I see people who don't necessarily need to use the accessible toilet, you're not even using it to go to the toilet. You're in there with a shopping trolley full of clothes.
And please don't abuse it. I think abusing accessible parking and abusing accessible toilets is awful. It's horrendous. I hate it. It makes my blood boil.
How do you feel when someone says you're an inspiration?
I have to say that this is something that really divides people with disabilities. If someone feels inspired by someone else, who's to say that that's wrong?
I personally hate it.
Never when I'm walking, not inspirational when I'm walking. Not inspirational because I'm a Paralympian, that would make sense.
I often get congratulated just for being out.
just for being out in the street.
I have been congratulated for being out. I've had people come up to me quite a lot in America, and they're like, "Oh, but you're so pretty. You're doing great." Of it in America. I don't get it here in the UK. But I have been congratulated on getting out of my car and going about my business and doing mundane tasks. That does kind of sit funny with me, kind of make me feel a bit icky, because that's not really that inspirational.
When I got my PhD, and people said to me, you inspired me to study more, to do this or to do that. I'm like, sweet, awesome.
Yeah.
But when they don't know you, they just see you on the street and they're like, you're an inspiration. And it's like, well, clearly you're just inspired by the fact that I'm breathing.
I think Dr. George Teleporos really hit the nail on the head there. I think when it's a sort of mundane, everyday task that you're being told you're inspirational for, it's quite patronizing, and it's something within the disability industry that we might call disabled porn. Is that what we call it? No, inspirational porn? Inspirational porn. Anyway, something like that. But I think if you have achieved something really awesome and it has inspired another person to do that, then I think that's awesome. Like if someone was to come up to me and say, "Jen, love Wheelsnoheels, it's inspired me to start my own vlog." It's something like that. I think that's great. But everyday tasks, not so much. I love the fact that we have different types of wheelchair users. We've got a power chair, we've got an ambulatory wheelchair user, someone who has a spinal cord injury, we have someone with CP, possibly think has EDS, although she didn't say specifically. I love the way that they add humour and talk, as we do as wheelchair users. Disabled people sometimes have very, very dark humour. So my wonderful friends, those are my answers. This is just my opinion from my experiences. Make sure to leave your answers down below. I would love to have a read through and see what you think. Let me know what episodes you have liked so far and what you think of that. What you think of this kind of style of video, and if there is any sort of more videos like this you would like me to do. Don't forget, if you've got this far, by the way, don't forget to subscribe, because I am going skiing very, very soon. There's going to be lots and lots of skiing travel content. I'd love to have you on board. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!